are now tuned in to my main man Dubs. If you want that garbage, go somewhere else. If you want that music that matters, he came to the right spot.
What up, kid?
Hey Dub, talk to him.
This is not for the weak-hearted. Ever since the beat started, the flow switched up from...
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Andy, the Destroyer, Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, he tells Anthony Joshua to his face that he quit in the first fight, and of course, he plans, with a twist, to end his career in the rematch. Now, Andy Ruiz, he had this to say. He said, I don't think he was still out of it. I didn't think he knew where he was at the moment. No, I think he was still out of it. I didn't think he knew where he was at the moment. I think that he quit. Joshua replied that the referee waved off the fight. It's just an opinion in it. I roll with it. I ride with it. I'm a champion through and through, no matter what anyone says to me. Okay, well, you know, Ruiz thought that he quit, so he says, you know, it's funny how narratives and opinions start to just spring up out of nowhere. And what I mean by that is, I remember when Andy Ruiz, I don't think a lot of people will ever forget that night that Ruiz upset Joshua. It was one of those days that it takes a rematch for the opposite to happen, and only, in order for you to forget it, right? If you can. But I can recall from Ruiz that, sure, he said before, yeah, I'll end Anthony Joshua's career. But him thinking that he quit, I don't think that was the narrative at first. The thing is, I want to be like AJ. That was my thing. I want to be a Mexican AJ when I grow up. It was all shits and giggles. It was all brown nosing and utter respect for the former unified heavyweight champion of the world. Now it's anything but. Of course, we know this fight is less than 2 weeks away. So we expect to hear this type of trash talk. But this type of trash talk, I don't think is really original. I don't think this trash talk is original at all. I think that Ruiz got that and adopted that saying from his buddy, Deontay Wilder. Because from the get-go, Deontay has been saying that. He's been consistent on how he felt about Joshua and that fight and what happened in that fight. And he felt that Anthony Joshua quit in that fight. Okay, and if you notice, Ruiz was like, hey, I hit him. I didn't think, he wanted to continue. But for him to come flat out say that he's a quitter, I think that was on the strength of everyone else saying the same thing. See, it's easier for everyone to have a certain opinion and for you to just roll with the opinion and start believing that opinion. The referee, the referee called it off. Now, in Joshua's defense, the man been down 4 times. Now, you could say, well, he's been down 4 times, therefore he quit after the 4th after spitting his mouthpiece out because he didn't spit out the mouthpiece those other 3 times. You could say that. But you could also say, well, it was up to the referee, and Joshua himself could have laid there and just took a knee until he counted out. I've seen it happen 1,000 times, people. When someone doesn't want to continue, they're going to look up at that ref. They're going to look down. They're going to look to the corner. They're going to look up at that ref. In the corner, in the referee is constantly counting, right? He's constantly counting. And if they get up after that or they sit there, that's that. Joshua didn't do any of that. He beat the count a long time ago. This isn't a situation like Lennox Lewis when he got knocked out. He didn't beat the count. This isn't a Luis Ortiz either. I got to do another video about that. It wasn't anything like that. It was Joshua holding the ropes. He told him to go back into the corner. After Joshua already stepped out, he pushed him back, right? Joshua went back to the corner, looked down at his mouthpiece, thought he was going to shove it in his mouth, but instead he waved it off. So, for people to call him a quitter, along with Andy Ruiz, Deontay Wilder, and others, well, you got to ask yourself, well, did he really quit, or did the referee stop it because he cared to stop it? He chose to stop it. Was it a bad stoppage after being knocked down 4 times? I mean, you can't argue that much that it was. But did Joshua quit if the man's sitting in the corner? Now you could argue that his hands were kind of tight on the ropes. He had his hands on the ropes. And then when the guy waved it off, he could have like shoved them or did some kind of, but his hands were on the ropes, on the top ropes. Sure, it was. You could argue that, like, well, you know, like Wilder said, the body language and all this, that, and the other. But for a man to get up, for a man to keep getting up after getting knocked down 4 times, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 times, and he still got up 4 times, that's kind of hard for me to call somebody a quitter. Now, what you think he really wanted to get knocked back down again? I don't think he wanted to. You know what I mean? But the thing is, he didn't quit. You know? Because the ref could have stopped that fight after the 3rd knockdown. He could have, but he didn't. He counted it out. And Joshua got up. He beat the count. You know, you seen him shaking his head, ready to get the mouthpiece shoved back in his mouth, and the referee stopped it. So it was a referee's call. So Joshua was right about that. It's a referee's call. Andy Ruiz, it's slick, it's clever to bandwagon that narrative, you know, because they're going to fight again. And, you know, it's all mind games at the end of the day, right? You know, if you want to get in someone's head, you want to call him a quitter, right? Now, if you hear Ruiz saying he didn't have a heart of a champion, okay, we know that's classic DW, Deontay Wilder talk, because that's exactly what Deontay said immediately following the loss of Anthony Joshua. He didn't act like a champion. He didn't have a heart like a champion. He didn't fight like the heart like a champion. You see what I'm saying? So we see what's piggybacked from other people's opinion, you know? And the ironic thing about that, when people are helping each other, they're siding with each other for a particular time frame, which Deontay is siding and rolling with Ruiz and hoping that Ruiz takes out Joshua again. Little does he know that won't be the case, and how things will suddenly change if Ruiz actually messes around and wins. We'll see how buddy that is at that point. So, you know, I will be very, very interested in seeing how these guys will treat each other. You know, will they treat each other like Oscar De La Hoya and Sugar Shane Mosley? You know what I mean? Or will they treat each other like Shane Mosley and Floyd Mayweather? You know? So those are the things you ask yourself. That's what makes the boxing heavyweight division so enticing right now. But you guys tell me what you think about Ruiz's comments that he thinks Anthony Joshua's a quitter and he's going to end his career. Tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.